Hello and welcome. Here we are again, the Marianne and Corinna duo, on Tuesday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, as usual. And what are we going to talk about today? In our conversation yesterday, we ended up talking about money and then looked for a theme on those conversations and came up with the space of money. And what do we mean with the space of money? I can be a certain space when I think about money, when I deal with money. And what it's interesting, I came across, and so did Marianne, about an interesting different space that I had not contemplated yet. I mean, we are used to, if we buy something, there is a certain price set, and you either pay it or you don't, you know. But there is also the possibility to operate donation based. And that person that we both came across was operating from, this is my donation to you. How much is it worth to you? It's for you. It's not for me. I don't want to set a value on that because I don't know how much value it has for you. And then me sitting with that, I came even across a different thing. You know, I may be posh, and so $20 is not a huge expense. I may be struggling to survive with the amount of money that I have in this reality. And so $1 is way beyond what I can afford. So, in that sense, then, could it be that 50 cents is an equivalent to $50 for somebody else, relatively speaking? And how much are we locked in to look at the amount of money and not see the context of money? What 50 cents may mean for one person could be $50 for another person, just because of the amount of money that is available to them. So I was really struck by that idea of, you need to say how much it is worth to you, and I'm not going into judgment based on the amount, based on the number, because I don't know your financial situation. So what is coming up for you with that?
Oh, Corinna, so many things came in again. So let me see what I can bring out now in this moment as something expanded on what you already said, is what for me was when came across with that person is, you are not paying for the service. So we do not pay the person for a service she's gifting us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We pay to receive what it is for us. What am I worthy? So that was for me something to contemplate as, oh, that is interesting. We do not pay for a service, even though it is a kind of service. She's serving, she is delivering whatever it is, because it's an energetic place from which she is contributing to us, to everyone who wants. So, it was about, wow, it opened up for me to go and look and tap in the gifting and receiving of money without the numbers, because the numbers, as you mentioned, for someone 50 cents is like another one $100 or whatever it is. So it is possible. Still, there is more opening up for me in, it's not about numbers, and it is not even about money as we know it. What it opened up to look into more her website, and I surfed through it and received already so much from going through there. And I received also so much more of me, and I can't explain how that worked, but it was like a donation, and she is also donating herself with what we donate, she donates. It is an ongoing stream. It's not, this is the value, you put it in there, and then I put it in another way, as a matter of speaking. That flow of that energy that goes with what we call money, but it is that flow that opened up so much more for me. And I know for me, Corinne, I'm not sure for you, but for me in the last year, so often I asked myself, but what is it really about money that I'm not getting yet? What is it that I know? I was so aware of an energy around money that somehow I not yet could find or not yet had access to for myself. And that is the thing now I perceive that is opening up. And that is why we speak also about the space. Where there is space, there is not a solidity, there is not a fixed start and end point. It is going on, and it is flowing and flowing and flowing. So that gifting and receiving in the way she contributes, because I can't call it that she works or she's functioning from. For me, it is all about contribution. And even now, when I'm saying it, it is also opening up so much more. What is true contribution? What is it? And the funniest thing I had yesterday after our conversation was how amazing, as we started with somehow a complete other theme in our conversation, as we started about that and living, as we also, due to the weekend, there was somehow the energy of that and becoming clear about what is this and what am I choosing and what is living and what is living for me, what is living for another, where does it come from, where do I copy thoughts, feelings, emotions from parents, etc., etc. So beauty in this is we start with that, what is seen as an endpoint for so many people. And from that, for us, it is a new beginning, and it is space, and it is also that ongoing flow. And then we came up with, we tapped into the energy of money and flow and that space. So somehow what is coming up now for me is what is going on in the world, as we see that it looks like money is even more an issue for so many people, as though they lose jobs, they lose whatever. And is that true? Because what we start to perceive and receive even more is there is opening up so much more space that money starts to flow, and there is even more possible to flow instead of that and ending up. What if the space is now available that money can contribute to us because we are willing to contribute to ourselves?
That that definitely, and I fully agree. It was an interesting meandering that we did yesterday, going here and there, and so on, and talking about. Part of our conversation yesterday was life and death, and choosing to live and choosing to die, and where is all of that? And then you also have the saying in this reality, if you disagree with something or you feel that there is something fishy going on potentially, we have the saying, follow the money. Where are the profits? Who profits from it? Where are the profits going? So there is a there is a lot commingled in a sense. And it was really, as you said and I said before, that looking at, I'm providing a service, but, and I can put money, a money value on that service, or I can ask you, what is that service worth to you? How much are you willing to contribute? And what I also became aware of, that, there is that possibility, oh, this is worth a ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
And how much am I receiving based on that perception? Or I can go, I wonder how much that is worth, and donate according to that. And then how much am I receiving as a result of that conclusion, space, attitude that I have? So it really stuck for me when we talked about, ended up calling it space of money, because all the implications that are there with the space of money. How much is money worth for us? How much significance have we assigned to it? How much do we feel, oh, if I don't have money, I'm going to die? Uh, where, and then there are those masters that have a space of abundance and don't have any money, but get anything that they desire. So all of those things are part of the space of money.
Exactly. And as you mentioned also, because let's see, a really beautiful golden watch.
Yeah.
For you, it can be worth so much because you are willing to receive from that watch for whatever reason you have. And I can say, yeah, I can perceive it is a really beautiful watch, but hey, for me, it has not that much value. I don't require it. So, value, what is value? Is it what you put on it from the point of use? And is it also what you are willing to receive from it? As going with another thing, I can remember, and it is still up in my world, sometimes there is a t-shirt, for example, and I bought it for, it's in euro for me, for €3 or €4 because it was on sale or whatever. And it come along with me for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
As there is something different as so-called an important label that it is required to have in your
Wardrobe, yeah.
your wardrobe. So yes, and then I buy it because yes, I like it. Yes, it's beautiful. Yes, whatever yeses I'm putting on it. But then that piece can go wrong, or when I wash it, or it ended up in so many different ways. So what is value? And also there, what I noticed was, and I'm not a mark girl or a label girl or whatever, never was. And yes, it came from a lot of judgments my mom and dad had because of lack of money. That's a different point of view. In experience, a period where I really, literally, nearly, barely had to feed my children, it was another
Yeah.
game. And there I noticed how much the universe put it on my way. So there was no lack. I
Mm-hmm.
never paid amount of money, but what came across, it was not coming across, it was really the universe has your back as you are willing to receive it. And in that time, I wasn't aware of what I was choosing with that. It was later on I could go
Mm-hmm.
back and become clear and acknowledge that, yes, it was because I was so grateful that I came across with those things required for my children, for myself, whatever it was. So I could pay the bills, I could put the food on the table, I could put clothes on them. And we had it before that we said also about cars that they last for so long. So what is it also that we be with even what we call material, solid material? What are we being with that? Could it be that we are also space and a space of gratitude and receiving with those things? So it's not, for me, those things you can't put in a number value. It
Yeah.
is so much more. So are we willing, or am I willing to live from that wealth in every second and with everything in my life, even with my body? How much space do I give my body? So also here is somehow where it comes from, Karina. It doesn't matter, but perceiving now while talking is like my body relaxes and become more space of receiving. So how much more can money flow into my life when I open up the space?
I think that is a really great statement. Open up the space for things to flow in. And that could be money, that could be anything else.
Yes.
And how much are, and that is something that I became keenly aware of with sitting afterwards for a little while with our conversation and the theme that we came up. How much space am I willing to be? Am I willing to be the contracted space of scarcity? And that scarcity can cut across anything and everything in my life.
Yeah.
Or am I willing to be the expanded space of prosperity, which includes money, but also anything else? Having enough, having more than enough. In a way, prosperity for me is more than just having enough.
And is prosperity also not, besides having it, is also receiving it? Because how many people have money but don't receive?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's that openness that, and what pops for me right now is that there almost has to be an underlying sense of gratitude with prosperity. I can't.
If it must be or there is.
Yeah, I said the must be
Yeah.
from a perspective that it has
That
to.
it is. Yeah.
It's not that it must
Yes.
be. You know,
Yes, I hear you.
how can you have prosperity if you are not willing to receive?
Yeah,
Those two
Karina,
are correlated.
it is. It is. And isn't it about receiving all the time? All the time with everything. And receiving also here, the space of receiving is something different than getting something, taking something.
Yes,
Yes.
that definitely.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. We tend to not know how to receive. And is it because on some level we never had the experience of receiving? Uh, if I look at my growing up, my parents were not role models in for receiving, and how much having that in your life can create so much difference. Knowing and practicing to receive, and not just receive the good, because that is where we tend to go automatically. Oh, yeah, this is great. But just receiving, no matter what it is. Or if we rephrase it, the good, the bad, and the ugly,
Yes.
no matter what it is. Can we have gratitude for anything and everything, knowing that if the universe truly has our back, if the universe is not asking more of us than we are able to deal with, is it just that we label something bad because we don't perceive yet the benefit that it could have to our life?
That's beautiful said. That's beautiful said, because we know it's not we can't perceive it. It is, we really don't know what the outcome will be or where it is good for. And then we put up walls. And as the receiving part, Karina, I believe that seeing around me and growing up myself without that true receiving aspect is that, yeah, a dominated lack of energy, a dominant lack of energy we grew up with for so many lifetimes, even as receiving. And even that gratitude, you touched also the gratitude. And how much gratitude as we see it, as we grow up with and see it around us. Also, there is it a polite thank you, as it is required that I say thank you. So when I say thank you, then they know that I received it. And there is nothing flowing. There is nothing, not any gifting of receiving in that. As though, for me, for example, with gratitude, I was made so many times wrong as I didn't say it enough, or I forgot to say it, or whatever. And it it didn't, I couldn't get it at that time as, but I am grateful. So what is the difference? As I knew without knowing it cognitively, but I knew I was a space with that. And was it
Mhm.
receiving already? And the, yeah, so grateful that it couldn't be received, that even that energy of being grateful could not be received by the others. So
Let's receive this one here. It
can you read it, because I don't have my glasses on?
Hi, Corinna. Hi, Marianne. Thank you for showing up and sharing your perspective and wisdom around the space of money with us here. I fully appreciate your wonderful conversation. And
Oh, thank you.
we really, truly receive that.
Absolutely. We receive, we
And then
receive,
next
yes.
one, what about just being the energy of gratitude?
Yes, that's, and is when we are the energy of gratitude, so many times I get it that it is not received. And what if it doesn't matter if it is received or
Yes.
not? And is it also that the woman we talked about as functioning uh, due to donations, it's not putting a value of what she is contributing. She's being, because she know the value. She is the
Mm-hmm.
space, and she is even the gifting and receiving at the same time. So when we all start to be more that space of gifting and receiving, gratitude, acknowledging, honoring, vulnerability, all in one, how much more, with how much more speed can open up the space. So there is so much more abundance
Yes.
flowing in. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes, 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 yes. And we can
Could
choose
the
it.
world change?
Sorry.
How quickly could the world change?
Yes, that.
Because in what you just described, in that space of gratitude, in the space of receiving, can there also be fear at the same time? And how much fear do we have right now in the world in general?
Yeah, but do we make that bigger than our trust, than knowing that the universe has our back? What are we choosing in every second?
That,
And
yeah,
it is, Karina, and we know it, you know it, I know it. I love that space, and I'm often the space. But yeah, sometimes there is something happening that I'm shrinking and going into my head, etc., etc. What is the more I am willing to be the space with everything in the first place for myself and receiving myself and functioning from that space, the most rapid way I get that I'm shrinking, that I'm not being space. So when I'm not being space, there is more solidity, and then there is loneliness, and everything shrinks down. All the streams, my gratitude stream, my honoring stream, my receiving, everything. It's not, what if it is really truly not about money, money as in the coins, as in the paper? It's not about that. It's not about that. And yet still we require to have the numbers to pay. But
I mean, my
what if,
landlord won't accept the energy.
yeah,
And that is the reality, neither right nor wrong in that sense.
yeah,
And I fully hear you. Is this how much are we turning down the flow through the hose of the universe when we contract?
yeah,
I mean, there is less gratitude. There is less ability for the universe to have our back
yeah.
and gift us. And what if we choose to trust? And I talk about it, and I'm willing to trust. And there are the moments when I find myself with this is not going to work, and am I going to
It
survive?
is.
And then it is my choice, as I notice it, to say, wait, stop, stop. Let's
That
breathe into it. Let's become the space again. Let's go back into gratitude. Let's go back into what I know is true, that the universe has my back.
and it's that Karina saying, stop. This doesn't work for me. What can I choose? And then breathe in and breathe out, receiving, because nature is the abundance of nature is everywhere.
Yes.
So, with a simple breath, we can receive and move everything again.
Yeah.
And even, Karina, let us say or here, what we are doing. You know, I know, and it can completely different for you and for me because it doesn't matter what it is, but we know the value, we know the space, we know the contribution. It is for whom, whatever it is. Because we are also aware of it is not receivable for everyone and not everyone receives it. We go, we don't shrink. It's not about, oh, but if this and this and this and this and this one cannot receive what I am offering, what I am being, then I don't do it. It's not that. It's even though as we speak, we rule still with a solid and a small way of, yeah, it's not being with money, it's more ruling as in the rules and the judgments, etc., etc. But what if when we pay the rent and we pay with space, from space, with gratitude,
Mm-hmm.
no matter if it is received or not, it doesn't matter. The universe knows, the universe receives. And there it is flowing, and there it is creating something greater. And we don't have to know what it is, but are we willing to receive that without knowing what it is?
And that goes back to, are we willing to trust?
Yes.
And I really liked what you said is, what if we pay the rent with gratitude? And what if we don't just limit it to, and I know you didn't mean it that way, to the rent? What if we pay for the electricity, for the gas, for the food that we're buying? What if we pay with gratitude that we can pay for it, that we can afford it, that it is available to us? What if gratitude becomes an energy that permeates our lives?
Do you know what came up for me, Karina? And I'm laughing as I hear you saying it looked like it was louder, but it wasn't. I heard it louder because there was something with the energy I could catch. Is what if we no longer choose to pay for something, but instead of paying, we gift and we receive immediately, going out of that idea of I pay for something. It is as I, because
Yeah.
it is a flow of energy, even the electricity or whatever it is. We receive
Yeah.
electricity and then we contribute. There is an ongoing flow also of forwards and backwards. And yeah, wow, how much energy is there in paying, in the word paying? I catch that for me now. So thank you for bringing the paying into the conversation.
I want to share that one. Right now, I feel so connected with the little girl inside who would love to have ease with receiving from friends and family, even if she would had promised to create a solution by her own first. What is right with keeping every sorrow and perplexity, regardless of the pain of impending dishonor, when it turns out she couldn't keep her word? What if, and how much, I mean, what I'm hearing addressed here is how much do we actually already know as kids? And on
Yeah.
some level, how much of that knowledge is trained out of us by going to school, by life circumstances? Let's put it very generically.
Yeah. And is it there where it starts that we are the weird ones, seen as the weird ones?
Seen as the
Because,
weird ones, but the thing is those that see us as the weird ones, how far have they lost that weird ability because of what they were going through? I mean,
yes.
how much is a willingness to be different breaking generational patterns?
Yeah. Yeah. And do you know what this brings up as you were reading also the comment is whatever we tell ourselves today, where we are today, do we still honor ourselves? Did we trust ourselves? And were we so, how would I put it? It's, I never lost myself in a way. It looked like, in so many ways, going what others told me
Mhm.
and what was required towards behavior and whatever, all those bullshit came across. But deep inside, I called it always, but deep inside of me, I know there is something different. Deep inside of me, I know, and I was looking and looking and looking and looking. But is it the deep inside? Is that the key we never lose of being who we are in truth?
That, or even if we decided we lost for a time, can we choose it again?
Yep. And in truth, we can never be lost.
Yeah.
And there it is again, the dead and the living, as we never can be lost. So there is no that. What if the dead is only a new beginning, and the new beginning is already part of, as we call the that, but the cycles, the movement, the ongoing movement as in nature. Yes.
Yep. And
Beautiful.
in nature, is death in a way rebirth?
Yes.
I mean, even the joke, when a tree falls in the forest, does the tree die? Or do others say, yay, food?
Yes. And also this, even Karina, with the energies of our sadness, of our anger, or whatever it is, how much is that a contribution for Earth if we are willing to let it out, to let it go, not hang on it and let go of it, and then saying, oh, here, I'm not required any longer, but here, yes, you can have it and you can do whatever you want with it. So, and we don't grow up with that idea of that all the energies are flowing and recycling and
Yeah.
yeah. Mm.
Yeah.
So
And especially
from
the recycling, I think, is such a beautiful word.
yeah,
We are recycling energies.
yes, and from that aspect I get clear now that it is normal that we grow up still and have so many problems with money because it's a thing we don't allow to recycle, because it's not because I'm putting it out, and I'm gonna call it pay now. I contribute to you for a service. The money isn't gone, it recycled itself in the service I received. Yeah.
And how much do we create problems by stopping the energy flow?
Oh yes.
And
Oh
what
yes.
if we could look at a problem with the question, oh, where did I stop the energy flow? Then making it into something that is difficult to resolve, because ultimately, if I get the energy flowing again, the problem is resolved.
Yeah, but you call there also something I need to resolve. How much do we narrow? And yeah, is that a stuck energy if we want to do it
That's
all by ourselves?
exactly. Yeah.
As
How much,
we stop the flow. Yeah,
how much can we allow others to point that out without being offended?
also.
How much can we allow others to support us without
And
feeling
there it is
offended?
again, the receiving. Are we willing to receive
Yeah,
support? Or
yeah.
are we always the superior and the forced one? As I can do it by myself. I can find it all by myself.
You're calling me on my old saying, self is the woman?
Same, because been that, done that. I really truly know what it is. And then, and the stupid thing in it was when I got that, as there was a sadness and a longing, as oh, I want so badly that someone would see me, that I required help, and I would someone help me. But at the same time, I putting myself out. Oh no, I don't require help. I can do it all by myself. So
We
go
slap,
away.
we slap the hand away
It
that,
is.
that is stretched out in help.
So
Yeah.
stuck energy in the outside and stuck energy in the inside. Let's change that.
Yeah. So what is possible here?
What is truly possible? Yes. Thank you. Beautiful conversation. I loved it really.
That,
And
yeah,
thank you also for the listeners, the contribution
that you
they
gave in
are.
through your comments. Yes.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
uh,
We will see what we bring up next week, Karina.
yes, we'll do the same thing again. Until next week.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.